Hey guys, Fallout here, and on Thursday I decided I wasn't going to give you a video of me recapping the latest TWAB, that's this week at Bungie, mainly because it was crazy light. If a big info-packed TWAB is like a porterhouse steak, then what we got the other day was a salad with no dressing. Bungie did mention, however, that both Moon weapons and Dreaming City weapons were being reissued into the game in July with new perk pools. That's kind of huge, mainly because there's a lot of weapons under that umbrella that I really dig, but haven't had a lot of motivation to use in either PvP or PvE because they've been sunset. I wanted to make a video essentially talking about what the future god roll of each of these reissued weapons would be, but the only problem is we don't know what perks are going to be back on each weapon's final 2 columns. For example, look right here. When the Premonition first existed in D2, it had several perks available, shown on the left, that suddenly went away when the weapon was reissued later. The gun only drops now with the updated perk pool on the right. So here's what we can do. Quickly go over each weapon and cover what perks that, if they were to be added, would make the gun absolutely god tier. That way, when the weapons drop on July 6th, we can know right away, based on the updated weapon perk pool, which weapons we want to prioritize farming for and maybe which ones we might not care about that much. I'm going to go through these weapons in the order that they were mentioned in the TWAB. If you want to read along with me, I will link that down below as a pinned comment. First up, we got the LOUD LULLABY, and I don't want to blow my wad too early here, fellas, but this weapon might be the one I'm looking forward to the most out of all. I am very convinced that 120 RPM hand cannons are soon going to get a rework in the near future. But until that point, 120 RPMs are dummy good in PvP, and I've been yearning for the Lullaby to return. If you remember my heating up and tunnel vision video, I've been fairly adamant that I think both these new perks are top tier for PvP. I'm not only looking forward to tunnel vision Lullaby because I love the perk though. Lullaby is going to be the only, I repeat, the only 120 RPM hand cannon in the game capable of rolling with tunnel vision. That's a really big deal, and assuming tunnel vision drops in column 3, which it usually does, I'm gonna spend most of day 1 farming for a Lullaby with tunnel vision and any damage dealing perk in column 4, except maybe Rampage. Ideally, we would want multi-kill clip or kill clip. It's entirely possible Bungie will take multi-kill clip off the Lullaby during its reissuing, but it could remain as one of the staple perks, or kill clip could be added. I like the combo of those perks together with tunnel vision because both require reloading after a kill to activate. I'd try to avoid tunnel vision Rampage though, because Rampage activates right away on a kill, but again, gotta reload after a kill to activate tunnel vision, and by then most of your short Rampage timer is gonna be gone. Another perk I'd be happy to have on the Lullaby would be rangefinder or moving target being added to column 4 for a hot neutral game roll paired with tunnel vision. But yeah, multi-kill clip or kill clip in column 4 would make the new Lullaby an insane PvP monster. I'm ranking it high on my new Moon weapons to look out for list. One small step is a rapid-fire frame kinetic shotgun. This could go either way. Rapid-fire frame shotties in PvP are unique. You don't try to one-bang people from deep like the Fellwinter, but with the crazy rate of fire, you can very often two-tap people from good range fairly quickly. From the PvP side, if Bungie keeps on both quick draw and snapshot, I could see that being a very interesting Guardian killer. We know for a fact, though, that they're adding Trench Barrel as a droppable perk. Trench Barrel used to be crazy god tier, but now the extra damage is limited to only 4 shots out of your shotty. Because the one small step is rapid fire, the good news there is that you could potentially really send out that extra Trench Barrel damage in the blink of an eye in PvE. If Trench Barrel drops in column 3, which I think it will, and if one of the reissued perks is Vorpal Weapon in column 4, that could be fairly interesting for PvE. 1-2 Punch or Swashbuckler would also pair well with Trench. Personally, I'm not as hype on the new Moon Shoddy as I am on the Lullaby. It's hard to compete with Fellwinter for PvP, and grenade launchers are currently wrecking house in PvE. Time will tell, keep an eye on it. Tranquility is the kinetic sniper being reissued with Frenzy, a damage bonus that when activated gives you an extra 15% damage. In order for that to be a perk you'd want to hunt down on your Tranquility, I'm assuming that means Bungie's giving the axe to Firing Line, which gives you a 25% damage boost for just standing near your fire team. If we're comparing perks, I'd put Firing Line way above Frenzy for a sniper rifle. But again, assume that Firing Line is getting put on the chopping block. Even with Frenzy though, I'm not sure that would be my ideal perk on the Tranquility for PvE. A combo that I think a lot of people put way more stock into for PvE sniping is Vorpal Weapon paired with Triple Tap. That combo allows you to pump out higher damage shots for longer because Triple Tap will stretch out the duration of how long you can shoot before needing to to reload. At the moment, the Tranquility can't currently roll with either of those perks, so I would be interested to see if they add both to the reissued version of the weapon in July. PvP-wise, easy answer for me, I don't really care too much about getting a hot roll on the Tranquility, because if I'm looking for a great adaptive frame energy sniper, I'ma just roll into PvP with the Adored, which has a great default roll like the Fellwinter. Next up is Arc Logic, a 600 RPM auto rifle that confirmed will have access to heating up, likely in Column 3. For me, heating up pairs really well with Rampage in both PvP and PvE, mainly because both activate immediately after a kill, no reloading required. If Rangefinder or Tap the Trigger remained on the Arc Logic, I could see either of those pairing well with heating up for a really reliable PvP primary weapon. The only problem right now is that hand cannons are absolutely high heel stepping on the gonads of the meta in PvP. Auto rifles are viable, but definitely getting outperformed. That being said, remember, I'm all too positive a nerf will be coming eventually for 120 RPM hand cannons. Maybe when that happens, other weapons like auto rifles may rise up a tad higher. Dreambreaker is the reissued Moon fusion rifle, and unfortunately, it's one of my least favorite frames, the adaptive frame. Unless fusion rifles get a major rework in the near future, it's very likely I'll care little for the Dreambreaker. At the moment, I only care about high-impact, hard-hitting fusion rifles that can get deep one-burst kills like the Glacioclasm, and maybe well-rolled precision frame VOOP rifles like the Adept Plug 1. Dreambreaker is getting the ability to roll with Cornered, which I can only imagine will drop in Column 4. If you watched my Adept Plug 1 God Roll video, you know that while Cornered does give you a better charge time while surrounded by 2 enemies in PvP, it's not a drastic improvement. On the Plug 1, for example, it gives you a faster charge time by less than 1/3 of 1 second. I'd like to point out that Dreambreaker already has a relatively fast charge time of 660, so while yeah, this would be even quicker, I'm not really sure if it needs it. Who knows? Time will tell. Maybe it'll be a fast damage dealer in PvE or a filthy ape shotgun killer in PvP. I would really like it if they kept Firmly Planted and Rangefinder in Column 3. They're 2 of my favorite perks that can drop on fusion rifles right now. Would also be great if they could maybe squeeze in Under Pressure, another perk that I consider god tier on fusions in PvP. Keep an eye on the breaker, but again, for me, adaptive frames might need a big buff before I'm forced to care. Every Waking Moment is a Void 600 RPM SMG, and even though it's dropping with Killing Wind in the future, I currently have this maybe at the absolute bottom of my weapons I care about list, because wow, it is so hard to compete with the Adept Shiora's Wrath. If you avoid trials like the Plague though, it's entirely possible that the reissued Every Waking Moment could maybe be a halfway decent version of the Wrath that you don't need to step into PvP to acquire, which I think a lot of people would appreciate. I guess that in order for me to care, Every Waking would need to have something that I just can't get on the Wrath, which is hard because Wrath already has Kill Clip, Tap the Trigger, Heating Up, Tunnel Vision, Dynamic Sway, and Killing Wind. Rangefinder, Moving Target, and even Elemental Capacitor would be very strong contenders on a reissued Every Waking Moment that I would love to bring into PvP. If the reissued version doesn't have any of those perks, then yeah, probably count me out. The Love and Death Grenade Launcher. Right now, go ahead and put that up right in the high hype tier along with the Lullaby Hand Cannon. Love and Death is a power weapon, and we're being told that it'll be able to drop with Chain Reaction, I'm assuming in Column 4. Even if you won't be able to roll it together with any other damage perks usually found in Column 4, I kinda don't care. Love and Death is solar, and with Chain Reaction I feel like it'll be killer at being able to generate Warmind cells in PvE. If the reissued Love and Death can drop with either Clown Cartridge, Ambitious Assassin, or Field Prep in Column 3, that would be icing on the cake, but I'm already in on Love and Death based on Chain Reaction alone. A Fine Memorial is an arc machine gun which is getting reissued with Adrenaline Junkie. While that is cool, I kinda don't care as much because I can already get a corrective measure from VOG with Adrenaline Junkie if I wanted to. If you don't like or enjoy raiding, then A, how dare you, but B, you could get a Fine Memorial that maybe stands up to corrective measure, depending on what role you're looking for. Overall, I don't really care about this one as much unless they somehow make it incredible in PvE in a way that corrective measure can't currently achieve, which I doubt will happen. Night Terror is the reissued sword which is getting One for All added to the perk pool. Quick Fang is the sword that can already drop with One for All, and because it drops in the final column, I'm assuming that means you'd have to take One for All over something like Whirlwind Blade, which for me, probably isn't going to happen. If Bungo gets a wild hair up their butt and dreams up a sword that can have a damage perk in each of the final 2 columns, i.e. it can roll with One for All and Whirlwind Blade, then I don't know, that'd be weird and cool. Wake me up when that happens. Otherwise, I probably won't be hunting down a Night Terror right away. Tigerspite is the Dreaming City auto rifle, which is getting the perk Frenzy. Like I mentioned about auto rifles earlier, if you're thinking about bringing this bad boy into PvP, maybe think again for now. Hand cannons are strong right now, and autos need more help and able to compete at a high level. Thankfully though, I'm really only thinking about bringing the Tiger into PvE, which I'd gladly do if it had the new perk Frenzy. I think as of right now, Tiger will be the only auto rifle capable of dropping with Frenzy in the game, which is cool. I'm interested to see how it'll compare to other PvE shredders with Frenzy, like the Extraordinary Rendition SMG. It might not be as high as the Lullaby for me, but I definitely do want to grab a Tiger with Frenzy. Giving it anything in column 3 like Feeding Frenzy or Subsistence would only further cement my desire to grab it for PvE. Ugh, okay, next is the Twilight Oath. Don't meme me, bro. I know I broke myself mentally trying to chase down the curated role a while back, but now that rapid fire frame snipers like Twilight can't double tap body shot in PvP anymore, I no longer care as much. If the Twilight were to be reissued with Snapshot as a non-curated perk, which I really enjoyed using when I used my friend's curated role, then yeah, I would be keen on re-hunting the Oath for a role with Snapshot for PvP. We know that the reissued Twilight is getting Vorpal Weapon, and before you get really giddy, I got bad news about the damage numbers. I did some math. Twilight currently does 293 damage on a headshot in PvP. The dream with Vorpal is to allow weaker snipers to one-bang headshot an enemy out of their roaming super. Let's take Behemoth as an example, because if I'm remembering correctly, it's now actually one of the weakest roaming supers on the table after the recent patch, excluding Golden Gun, of course. Behemoth has 47% damage resist, whereas a lot of other supers have 49% or higher. With a 47% resist, your Twilight headshot will do 155-ish damage. Add on the 20% damage bonus from Vorpal, and you're looking at 186 damage, which is not strong enough to one-bang any Guardian in PvP. TLDR, Vorpal Twilight Oath will not be strong enough to one-shot dome even a Behemoth out of their roaming super, which currently I believe is the weakest one DR-wise. Unless rapid-fire frame snipers get a minor buff out of nowhere, I'd be more interested in a combo like either Snapshot and No Distractions, or Snapshot and Opening Shot for PvP. Our final weapon is Abide the Return, the Dreaming City Sword, which is getting Thresh. Cool addition, but if I'm looking to Thresh farm my super in PvE, I'm probably going to be using a primary weapon, which is much easier and doesn't burn through my insanely valuable power ammo. I prefer using power weapons for either large crowd control, especially when they can do something valuable like generate Warmind cells, i.e. the Love and Death Grenade Launcher, or for champion/boss nuking, in which case I wouldn't care about Thresh anyway and would rather have a damage dealing perk like Whirlwind Blade paired together with Relentless Strikes in column 3. And there you go, a very quick rundown on all the reissued Moon and Dreaming City weapons coming to D2 in early July. A very select few I'm putting in my most hyped about tier, probably the Lullaby and the Love and Death, with the majority of the weapons being in the I'll keep an eye on it, could be really good tier, and then a couple in the something major would need to happen in order for me to care tier. If you have any thoughts on what perks you're hoping the reissued weapons will drop with, let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video at all, please click the like button and hit subscribe to help me with my oh so humble goal of one day becoming the sole ruler of the planet. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.